There will be more, and mark my words, they won't all be a case like this that on initial glance seems so overwhelmingly bad and deserving. You know, they're not all going to be a fatal paralytic med error, right? They're going to be progressively less and less serious and more common type of errors.
She ended up pleading guilty to misdemeanor neglect of a care-dependent person, and she was just sentenced to 6 months under house arrest, 4 years probation, and she's banned from seeking reinstatement of her nursing license during that time.
It went before a jury, and the jury decided to indict the nurse, only the nurse, on involuntary manslaughter charges. And they decided not to indict any of the 5 officers involved. She has pled not guilty to involuntary manslaughter and faces up to 4 years in prison if she's convicted. Her license is suspended. She pled guilty to an amended charge of reckless conduct for failing to check on a deteriorating patient. 2 Cincinnati nurses were arrested today and charged with gross patient neglect. She was terminated for this, and then like over a year later, inexplicably, she was suddenly charged with manslaughter, negligent death of an at-risk person, and neglect. A Kentucky nurse was indicted on homicide charges earlier today. An LPN in Michigan was charged today with 1 count of second-degree vulnerable adult abuse because they failed to report a med error. I'm 90% sure the nurse didn't even commit the med error. They just became aware of it and failed to report it. Charged with neglect of a vulnerable adult. So they're accused of intentionally not changing dressings, wound dressings, on 2 patients at the skilled nursing facility for 2 days, resulting in, patient harm, essentially. They have been arrested. They have been charged with 2 counts each. These are felonies, and they are facing up to 5 years. Aminata Fofana, an Ohio nurse, is facing charges of reckless homicide and involuntary manslaughter after failing, allegedly, to replace the oxygen tubing on a trached patient.